Unbelievable.
Welcome to another episode of the PSVR Chat Show. I am your host today, CreeperBettyPSVR, creeping in today to talk about Touring Karts by Ivanovich Games. Thank you everybody for joining. Today we have our special guest as Jesús Fabre. He is the public relations specialist for Ivanovich Games. Welcome to Jesús.
Thank you, Betty. It's a pleasure for me to be here in this virtual world that you built. It's amazing. What amazing job you did here is incredible. I cannot believe it. I want to say hi to my mom, to my cousins, to my sisters, my brother, everybody who is watching. I feel like I'm in TV. Virtual TV.
It is pretty great in here. I have some other guests too that joined as well with us. We have the following YouTubers here today. We have Justin Incredible VR, which is Justin. We have Godcannon with PSVR Underground. Hey, what's up? And then we also have Ryan, the VR Grid, along with the producer, Jason, aka the Handi-Man Can VR. So you mentioned today you had a chance to look at this room and all the great artwork here, and I really wanted to introduce you to those artists that created this room for you today. So those artists are Noctauto, Dorkie the Akward, ClarityVR, who has a little special heart, little heartstring from me, and then we have Ukulele, Golden Cupcakes, Velp, and a little bit of Jason. But I'd like to give a big shout out to the artists, give them a big clap, because damn.
Yeah.
Right.
Well said.
Yeah.
It looks
hands
great.
down. Down, one of the best things I've seen in my life in digital world, made by people in real world. This is incredible.
And Jesús, you've been no, keep going. I apologize. I know I could keep talking about this, but we're here to talk about a little bit about you today as well. So can you let us know how you got to where you are today as a representative, a public relationship specialist? How did you get here? What steps did you take, and did you think you were even going this direction?
When I first played the game when I was a kid, I knew that I wanted to do something like that, or I wanted to be involved in games somehow. When I was in the rest of my life, like I was in love with this. And as I grew up, I thought I want to make games because I was playing games a lot with everything I could. Like I had a Game Boy, I had a PC, and I wanted to know how it was to create a game. So in my city, is a very small city compared to the big cities in Spain. We didn't have any course or university teaching how to make games. So my dad said, if you want to make games, do computer science, and then you jump to make games because you can program games, right? So it makes sense. So that's what I did. I started computer science, and I did one game in the whole university course, and it was super simple game, like a Space Invaders with characters, with text, ASCII, characters. But it was not oriented to make games. But anyway, I was there, I needed to find a job, and I started working as a programmer, doing internet security apps, like web portals, and everything that needed to be done, and I could find a job related to what I studied. I moved cities, I went to Madrid, that's the capital. And then I decided to start doing something related to games again, because I didn't stop completely, but I didn't play as much as before starting my job as a software engineer. So I started collecting games. I started buying, Genesis, Super Nintendo games, and all the games I couldn't buy when I was a kid. And that brought me to a retro gaming community called really is an event called Retro Madrid. It takes place every 2 years in Madrid, and it's a gathering of communities from people, you know, who collect. They rebuild games or like recover games that were lost in the 80s, and they kind of launch the games nowadays for the old platforms, but you know, a cassette for an 8-bit computer. You know, they do like things like that. So basically, I learned that there was a culture behind games. There was a preservation philosophy behind games. And I started collaborating with them. I started doing the social media for them, everything for free, everything because I wanted to do that. I was really motivated to be part of that movement. And that brought me to think, hey, I want to be part of the organization of this event. And I was the sub-director of this fair. It was the most important fair in Spain in the year 2010. And I was like the second guy in charge, you know? So that made me think maybe I could do this for a living in the future if this goes well. And that's what I tried. I quit my job as a software engineer. I decided to study something related to communications, to education, to video games. There was a master's degree on that. And that master's degree took me to basically start a project that it was basically interviewing people about the impact of games in their lives. And I started learning about a lot of players, like the, you know, life stories, professional life stories, personal as a gamer life stories. And that took me to interview around 340 people from 19 countries. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of talking. That's a lot of people.
Exactly.
That's
crazy. And that project is called The Gamer Inside, and The Gamer Inside took me to my job. Basically, I discovered that there were indie developers in 2011 who had incredible games and had no clue about how to do their marketing for those games. I thought if I can do my marketing for the web series, I could do their marketing because my audience are gamers and their audience are gamers too. So basically, I taught myself how to do marketing in the indie way, you know. Yeah. So basically, that changed my life. The step of not studying what I wanted to do, but trying to do whatever I could to be useful in the communications area of video games, you know?
Yeah, that's a great story. I mean,
Thank
it
you.
really is. I mean, you went from software engineering going into marketing. I mean, that's black and white, you know, so that's a very flexible big brain right there, if you ask me. Thank you. So, and then you get to know Ivan Kaskelis, right? Kaskelis?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. So tell us what it's like to work with Ivan.
Well, I mean, Ivan or Ivan.
Yeah. Or Ivan.
Yeah. Basically, we met because we have a developer friend in common. That is very common when you work with indie developers. It's basically you start talking about somebody that did a good job for you or for somebody, and that person needs that necessity. You know, I need somebody who does marketing, who has some experience on this, and a common friend recommended me. And that was the first contact we had on LinkedIn specifically.
Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, it worked for me. Like real world works better than digital world when it comes to create bonds and networking. But LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all the social networks are wonderful for that too. So, well, basically, he presented me the project. I played a little bit, and I saw the potential. I saw that idea of, you know, playing with up to 7 friends, doesn't care where they are playing, doesn't care if they are playing in VR, in a mobile device, in a console, in a PC without VR. that was amazing. You know, I'm a big fan of racing games. I've been working, I don't know if you're fans of all classic, you know, racing games like Outrun, like Top Gear from the 90s. So well, I'm a super big fan of racing games. I'm still working on a racing game besides Touring Karts. It's called Horizon Chase Turbo. It's for me, working on a racing game, if it's good, it's hard to say no, you know, if it's a good racing game. I'm a very big fan of the genre. So yeah, since I was playing Rat Racer in the NES. So basically, I saw the potential. I saw he was passionate about this game, about this project, that this was not some, you know, quick cash grab, you know, to do something like flashy, and that there's nothing behind, only the marketing. Yeah, exactly. That he really wanted to deliver what he was saying in the press release, and that for me is number one. I need to like the game. After that, I need to work with an honest developer, and I saw he was very honest and very hard worker. So I decided to start working with him, and he had a big plan, and also, you know, it's a very ambitious project with a lot of factors that need to align to be successful. And we didn't have a lot of luck during the development and the launch, because we had some bugs, we had some delays. But in the end, we are satisfied. We are happy to see the game is the best game we could make with the time and resources we had.
I think it's great. I loved it.
That's something that, thank you. That's really something that really motivates us to move forward.
Well, here's a little joke. This is one I'm just going to throw out there. So it's Ivanovich Games, right? So it's Ivan, right? I know the CEO name, it is Ivan, but what is the Ovich part?
Yeah, this is because, he told me this is because there was a joke, because his name is Ivan. Ivan is a Russian name. So a long time ago, somebody put him the suffix of ich, you know, like Ivanovich. Like, this is kind of matching the idea of how would be if he would be a Russian guy, and how would be a company with his name, but Russian, you know? So basically, everything started with this silly joke that he could be a Russian guy making games. How would be the name of the company? So Ivanovich.
Well, I loved it. I was like, what's the Ovich part? I'm like... Okay, so I know that we did touch base about the game and everything, and it has been released since December 12th of last year, but there's some people that don't know yet, you know, that are just still getting into the PSVR world and the VR world. So can you tell us a little bit about what Touring Karts is?
Of course. So Touring Kart is an arcade racing game that has a lot of power-ups that you can craft. You can throw them at your rivals. You can have now it has voice chat. It is multi-platform, and you don't need VR. You can race from a flat screen. You can race from PlayStation VR, PSVR, and Oculus, HTC Vive, Windows WMR, like mixed reality, right? Windows mixed reality. And also it has a lot of circuits, over 45 power-ups, if I remember well. And in total, we can say it has more than 120 hours of gameplay. And, you know, content-wise, the game is huge.
Yeah,
that is something that really makes me feel happy about the game, because sometimes when you are playing a racing game, once you get over, you know, some races, you finish the game, and you need to have enough content to challenge your rivals, your friends, and you know, new challenges, new circuits. That's always great.
22 racetracks, 45 power-ups, and 30 karts. That's a lot of content for the game. And with that being said, Yeah, I remember the first time, I think it was Godcannon that was streaming it, and it was before it was released to the public. I was so excited, like I could not. The first thing I was like, "There's a chicken! What the hell is up with this chicken? He's great! I love the chicken!" And I'm like, "I can't wait to choke the chicken!" So the first time I played, I couldn't wait to choke that chicken, play with the bazooka, and hammer down on my friends. Tell me, how excited were you when you finally got the whole game built and you had 7 of your friends playing? And did you ever play it in VR? Because you said you didn't have a VR headset.
Yeah, I don't have it. I have friends who have VR and are VR developers. So I even went to Ivan offices once, and but normally I'm traveling around the world. So when I go to an office or a house of a friend or a colleague who has VR, I try every game I work on in VR. I want to buy a VR device maybe next month if everything goes well.
I'm very curious. You know, we've got this panel over here of great YouTubers and talented people, artists, and I'm very curious. Starting with VR Grid, what's your favorite
Anything
weapon?
with a hammer. If it a hammer or combo with a hammer, I love the just. I mean, I've only ever played flat carts really before VR, obviously, and to be able to like be there and actually have a hammer in my hand while I'm driving with my wheel and trying to smack guys is absolutely amazing. It's like it's dream fulfillment. So yeah, I go for the hammer.
The hammer. What about you, Justin?
Probably the chicken. It's hard to use, but when you hit, it's really satisfying.
Yeah.
I really like the chicken.
But the hammer's so personal, Justin. It's so personal.
True. Nothing like crushing someone with that hammer.
It's a personal smash.
Off the top of my head, definitely the chicken. Just from launching it at people and just watching it, like, you know, stumble down the track and crush people is great. And we even coined the term reverse chicken, which is popular in our community.
Oh, nice. Reverse chicken. How about you, Jason?
I don't know the exact name of it, but whatever the one that launches that chicken out there with the army hat.
That's when you can do the combo.
Craps the that craps the explosive. Yeah.
That's your combo.
Definitely the combo with the explanation or the exploding barrels that come out from the chicken spot, whichever one that is.
I think that's the bazooka. I think that's the bazooka chicken combo.
I know it's a weird way to describe it, but that's the best way I can describe it.
And you gotta earn all those combos too. You gotta earn them all.
That's true.
Yeah. So I know that Ryan has a couple of questions. The VR Grid.
Can I say our favorite? Our favorite power-up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Because, well, I will say mine is the chicken, because you feel like it's that accomplishment when you see the chicken running and stumbling on everything, you know,
Very
and,
satisfying.
Clearing the way in front of you. But Ivan, his favorite, he said to me, wait a second, he said his favorite is...
We're getting it live
the
now,
chicken.
right from Ivan.
Yeah, the chicken combined with the ice cubes that when you craft it together, you get a Eskimo chicken that is shitting. We cannot say shitting, man.
Shitting, pooping.
Shitting in the good sense, you know. Politely shitting pieces of ice cubes.
Ice cubes. Yeah.
I did not. You know, I think I saw him poop that. I said, oh my God, I think that chicken just pooped ice cubes.
Exactly.
I love it.
Hey,
The
that's some cold
combinations.
shit.
I still haven't even seen all the combinations. Again, 45 different power-ups that you have to earn, and I still haven't seen them all.
The monkey with the UFO that abducts people is pretty good.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That one always gets me.
absolutely. And I have a question, because normally we are always through chat talking to the community, and for a while there is a question around my head regarding one of the power-ups or the items you throw. That's the bomb. And I want to know what you think about the bomb, if you use it, if you get how to use it, if you enjoy it, or if you will change it. Because I haven't seen any comment about it. And I think if people don't comment about it, it may be because or they don't find it useful, or they don't care about the bomb, or basically it's no. There should be some positioning about the bomb.
Right. So the bomb, doesn't that shrink them?
No,
the
bomb, you actually, I don't really see the bomb a whole lot, to be honest with you. Like even when I got the combination for the trophy, I don't even like, I don't really remember the bomb very much.
I think it explodes and flattens, if I'm correct on that one.
Yeah, but you throw it and it takes a little while until it explodes.
The timer,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, the timing. Yeah.
It's more than a ball you throw. It's like a bowling ball you throw, and after a while, it explodes. So, but I want to know if you like it, if you use it, what do you do when you get a bomb? How you use it?
I honestly don't see it very much. I see the ball that you throw that shrinks people. Like I see that one, but I've never, even getting the trophies for it, I never saw it before really. Like I never see like a bomb that's like sparking in my hand or anything.
Yeah, same. I haven't seen that too much either, actually. Like, maybe once or twice. And yeah, like I said, what you said, the timer thing. I remember, if I recall, it takes too long to explode. If I'm remembering correctly now.
I stick to a rocket launcher.
Explode on impact.
Yeah, it kind of
tends
to miss what you're aiming at.
Yeah.
Because it goes straight.
Yeah.
It just, so you have to be a straightaway. You can't do it on a turn unless, cart's in front of you.
Yeah, I think that I should talk to Ivan about the bomb.
There might be something wrong with it.
I don't think people like sticks in their mind. The players, the audience. I don't see our players doing jokes with the bomb or tweeting about, oh, look at what they did with the bomb or how you use the bomb.
I can tell you. I've played this game for 20 hours, and I've never once remembered a bomb being in my hand that I throw. Never once.
Maybe you need to put a smiley face on it.
There's something about the way it looks, or there's something else that I never noticed.
I got Knox's answer here. His favorite is the banana cannon combo, and then he says with the bomb he uses it for combos, nothing much else. I think that's why none of us remember it, because we're always just waiting for the next piece to that puzzle.
The combo,
we're doing right.
Yeah, maybe
is it purple?
The bomb.
Yeah, it is purple, isn't it?
It's a purple, yeah. I probably just confuse it with the shrink one a lot, I think. If it just looked different, I would notice it more.
Is the shrink one purple too?
The shrink one is purple too. And I remember the shrink one at the time.
Yeah. So maybe I'm thinking that if the bomb will impact with the first object or, player he touches, it will be more effective, I believe.
And the way it looks,
I agree,
the color.
Yeah.
That and especially
especially if it's clustered together there, that thing will be
more like
deadly.
A black bomb, you think, AJ? Like a black bomb with a
especially if it had like a fuse or something.
Big fuse on it.
He says Noct says that it has just a white arrow on it, so it's like it's not very easy to distinguish.
I'd say you put a smiley face on it. That'll change the game right there.
Smiley face
with a big
fuse,
black though.
Something like that.
Black smiley face with a fuse. Maybe the smiley face should have X's on the eyes or something. Oh, wow. I think, let's see where we're at here. It's you, GC.
All right. So I just want to know what prompted you to combine all the different platforms together, and was it like to ensure that there was a steady player flow for the game? Because sometimes the PlayStation communities aren't really up for people that play together, and sometimes others have failed in making it easy for people to play. So we do thank you for doing that for everyone. But just wanted to know about the decision to combine all platforms, make it cross-platform.
Yeah. The point is that when you look at the VR games, it's really, really, really rare to find a multiplayer VR game with a lot of players.
Right.
Maybe because there are not a lot of players doing multiplayer in VR. Like, it's hard to get people together at the same time playing the same game. And also, I believe the most successful VR games haven't been like cooperative games, like Beat Saber, like Super Hot. They are not experiences you play with other people. You have the world tailored for you, right? It's like Beat Saber is like is your track. You need to hit here, hit there, and there's nobody else, right? It's the world shapes for you to break this record and to do the best song as you can. So same with the other games. So it's hard. There's a shooting game, kind of a Counter-Strike type of game. I don't remember the name now, but it's very popular. But
Firewall.
aside of that, what?
Firewall?
Firewall, yeah.
Firewall.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's like the only
It's,
game that has like a multiplayer fan base consistently.
yeah, and exactly. So the point is that for us, it was hard to think of a successful multiplayer racing arcade game. So as Ivanovich Games was started as a mobile developer, and you have players in consoles, you have players in the cell phones, you have players in VR, we thought maybe we could use our expertise to make this game multi-platform, cross-platform, and create this bond between the universes of players that we have been working with in the latest years, you know? So that was the challenge. And I think there was no other viable way to make this product consistent and, you know, like profitable than thinking that it should go beyond the VR, you know? It is something that is hard to think. Our possibilities or limitations with VR in terms of multiplayer, I think, are strong. It's not easy to get enough players. So we thought if we do this, if we make this game, we should think about it as a multi-platform game, cross-platform, because if not, the risk is really high. And if you think about the company, what the studio has been doing, you will find a game called Mini Drivers. And this game has a lot of players, like millions of players. And it's still being very well valued, very well reviewed by players in the App Store and in Google Play too. So we thought, okay, maybe we could use our expertise from the mobile games to integrate Touring Karts in this mobile world. So that's our next step. So the point is to offer the best experience for each platform. And when you play a VR game, you should feel this is a VR game that is thought and designed to be played in VR with a lot of control options, with a lot of things that you need to, you know, the motion sickness, view, and all of the voice chat, you know, everything we could, it's in the game. We could do, you know, everything we could put in the game to adapt it to the way you play in VR. And also we are going to do the same for the mobile version. So you feel this is a mobile game when you play the mobile version. You feel this is a console game when you play in console, and when you play in VR, you will feel, okay, this is a game made for VR. So this is really hard to think about the way you play in each one of those platforms, and also not only the usability, also the technical side behind this that you cannot see, but how each platform communicates with each other, how the players need to see everything that happens during the race at the right time, because everything is going fast. So this is the challenge, and for now, I believe we are getting a good result. We are doing it right. I don't know what you think.
I think
Absolutely.
it's crazy.
On the
What's the
mobile
question?
version of the game, I had a couple questions. One, will it be on iOS and Android, or just one of those platforms? And also, when can we expect the mobile version to be released?
So we are talking about few months, if not 1-2 months maximum. That's our window. Initially, we are thinking about iOS and then Android, but we may go simultaneously. We haven't decided yet. What else I can say about the mobile version? Give me
It's still
a
kind of a
second.
secret, isn't it?
Is there a price point on that mobile version?
It will be free to play.
Great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it will be free to play.
We like free.
Yeah, so the idea is that with the mobile version, the rooms would always be full. That is something that we always hoped, to have since the very beginning, but it's really hard. We had, if you remember, if you've been following the game during, I think it was in January or late December, that we did kind of a competition. If you get, I think it was December, if you get like 3 races in a row in the first place, you get a copy for the game or something like that. We did something like that.
Oh yeah, it was
You
like a
remember
Steam
that?
copy or something for, it was a Steam giveaway.
Yeah,
a Steam
like
copy for a
the idea for that was
on the
if
Discord.
you get first place in the Steam demo, we give you a copy of the Steam game for free.
Wow.
So that got us a lot of people playing the demo and playing online, and that meant a lot of people who had the game had a lot of people, of real people to play with. Got what I mean? So
Yeah.
That
Kind of
that
made the
is
village for people to move into.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a great initiative we had, and it turned out to be a success because also was a lot of press got the news like this is a free game. It was not completely like free from the start. You need to earn it.
Yeah, but earn it a good way.
Exactly. You need to be good at the demo to get the free game. So the point was that we got a lot of players during, I think it was 4 or 5 days. But after that, the curve started to go down and was not as good. But it was still nice. But we have been always thinking that the day we release this game on mobile, looking at the numbers Mini Drivers is giving us that they are impressive, and people really like to play racing games like Mini Drivers on mobile, we thought, okay, the day we will release Touring Karts, we are going to have our rooms full of VR, console players, and mobile players. So, but give me a second, because I think I have something that I can tell you about the mobile version. From everything Ivan has been sharing with me the last weeks, you can tell me why you feel excited about it, or why you think it, or what you expect from it. So Ivan, that is going to watch it later, he can have an idea of what you want to see in a mobile version of Touring Karts.
I mean, as VR players, I think just having being able to play locally co-op with people in the same room as you and still have a very similar or a almost identical experience, I think is kind of the key, because playing in VR is still it's still a next level experience if you're compared to playing this flat. And that doesn't mean this doesn't play great flat. Of course it does. Right. But to be able to play with my friends right in the same room and maybe even swap headsets and kind of go back and forth, to me, that's kind of the strength of having these cross-platform mobile releases. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is just being able to play with friends in the same room.
Or if you're at work at lunch and your friend is home playing, and maybe you're working on a trophy.
No, for now, I can tell you the mobile version is working really great. It's really fluid. And it feels like a console game on mobile. It doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels like made to be enjoyed on mobile in the way that a mobile phone can be seen as a portable console, Not in the way that, okay, let's do cheap things to pretend this is a racing game, The game is not going to be only on mobile version, it's going to be also on Apple TV.
Really?
Oh, no way!
That's interesting.
I love my Apple TV. I have that in my room. I faithfully watch it every night. You've got to be kidding me.
Touring Karts before bed.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Are you going to be able to download the controller on the phone and play it off your Apple TV?
That's another good question.
I don't know. This is very much technical than I am.
The only reason why I asked that is because that controller for Apple TV is so tiny. I'll lose that thing. Like I'll fall asleep, you know. And so I've downloaded the app, and I can use the controller, the remote control app
right off your
from
phone.
my Apple TV. Right off my phone. So I'm thinking, is that controller going to be on the phone?
So if you could tell us a little bit about what inspired this game, and I think I have a couple ideas, but I'd like to hear it from you guys and just see really, what helped make this game.
What inspired the game? Basically, the arcade games like Mario Kart, like Crash Team Racing, like Crash Nitro Kart, all the Crash racing games. Also the Formula One games, and basically it's a fusion of the party arcade games with the Formula One universe. So that's what we got. And you want me to answer also about the circuits? So circuits are very much inspired in Formula One circuits, in the real world Formula One circuits. That was the idea, to have this feeling of competition, but in a funny and casual, informal way, not like too serious. That is where it comes from, and how we put out our vision of an arcade game inspired on a competitive world with crazy stuff, crazy power-ups, with absurd humor, with tentacles and reference to sci-fi and nerd movies, and
I saw some retro posters in there too.
Exactly.
Some of the
Exactly.
maps.
That's the idea, giving a lot of feeling that you are living in a common universe that is being invaded by all of those elements from your childhood and from the pop culture.
Yep, I feel it when I'm in
And the
there.
crazy monkeys too.
Damn monkeys.
The monkeys don't have an explanation. Basically, they are some creatures that were introduced in the game because they thought that having a monkey there will be fun. Having a chicken running crazily over the course will be hilarious. And it's very like nonsense humor.
Yeah, I love it. Especially the pooping, like you said, the pooping chicken.
Yes. Also, as the circuits are based in real world locations, we try to give them some personality, give them some features that represent or are influenced by elements of that culture of that place, right? Like boomerangs in Australia, like Russian dolls, like that.
Yeah, my favorite level is the Asian one with all the Chinese lanterns and the dragon, and it's just got such a nice little vibe. I like it.
I collect Russian dolls. That's the funny thing. So when I saw those, I was like, oh my god, they're so cool. That's cool.
We'll happily do that. So you briefly covered the motion sickness and how you guys were concerned about that. But what did you do exactly to just kind of accommodate all those people that maybe do experience some kind of simulation sickness?
Well, basically, we did tons of testing with the arcade cabinet view that places yourself like in front of a monitor, but you're still driving a car that is static. The car is static, so you don't feel the world moving around. You only feel the world that's moving in front of you, limited to that screen. So it is still reacting to your movements and reacting to your actions, but only through visually through that rectangle. That worked pretty well, and I guess almost nobody complained about motion sickness using that view. That's a very much technical question. I don't think they did a lot of changes, maybe stabilizing the camera or something like that, but the game hasn't been like modified a lot for motion sickness.
Therefore, it was just well built.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, it was built right off the hop.
They dodged that one.
We did some We did some changes, but not like huge number of changes. It was good enough. In September, 2 weeks after launching, we did some tweaks, and it was good enough since then. In pure VR version of the game was working well.
I love the fact that you guys give so many choices of the ways to play the game, especially with the peripherals. You've got the steering wheel, you've got the DualShock, you've got the single move, you got the dual moves, you've got the rudder, and I'm hopefully not missing anything this time on that one. But I'll find out later, I'm sure. But for me, my personal favorite was the rudder and the one move, just because, I don't know, I enjoy driving with my feet, pushing forward, doing that kind of stuff. That was fun for me. But besides that, I love the fact that you guys had the flat mode with DualShock 2. So, like, for me, if I was having a bad day, I wasn't able to do any VR, I was still able to play the game with the rest of the guys here, and that means the world to me. That's all I gotta say. That's thank you for doing all those things.
I have my wheels constantly set up here just for touring carts. Like, my wheels was packed away forever, and once touring carts came out with wheel support, the wheel has not left the side of my PlayStation. I absolutely love. There's not enough games use it, and I'm so glad touring carts did. And like I said, the combination of the wheel and being able to, like, hammer something with your move controller, or it's unparalleled. It's such a joy for me. It's a childhood dream come true, and having all those control methods in there is astounding and awesome. And you guys deserve praise for that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Claps.
That was. Thank you. Thank you. That was one of the features we were really proud of, because no other racing game implemented that in PlayStation VR. All of those things are challenging and require time, require work, require testing and tuning. Going back, if you don't mind, to the previous question, I have the Steam news here. In October 31st, we did an update that basically added a new circuit called Test Drive, especially designed to be the first circuit you play. It's wider, it's easier, it has less risk of motion sickness. Also, we added an auto respawn option with 4 application degrees, especially designed to reduce the motion sickness. And at the same time, in that same update, we modified the arcade edition of the game. That we haven't talked about that, but the game is also available for commercial arcade rooms. So the vignette effect is activated by default to minimize the risk of motion sickness in the arcade edition. So you start with that view, and then if you want, you go deeper and you raise the level of immersion and jump into the complete full VR. You're inside the world, inside the race yourself. So that is the biggest update we did for to deal with motion sickness. I wanted to say that because we're talking about a crazy number of updates. The last one we posted, and we decided to only post next update once it's a significant update, is the number 95 update. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
95 updates.
I hadn't realized there's been that.
It's a huge number of updates. So this symbolizes or represents how hard our team has taken this project.
That's great. That's awesome to hear.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So this is also praise from me to them. It's like I'm surprised that they care so much with so few resources, and they believe. They really believe in the game. It's not common to find indie developers who care as much as they care.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like they have a really good vision.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also VR for me, as you may not have noticed, I'm not super expert in VR. I don't have a VR device, but I'm learning more and more. And I'm also learning that there are that the VR player, VR gamer is a type of gamer that is quite exigent and quite picky at some points. We got some reviews like saying, yeah, I have this device and I have this problem, it's a very specific problem, so I put you a negative review on Steam. So instead of So instead of going and talking to us like normal people, hey, you are developers, I played this, I have a problem. Can you do something to help me out? No, I go put the negative review and say everything is right, but this thing. For that, I put a negative review. At the same time, we need to deal with that. So if I want to keep this or to leave this register in this conversation, just in case anybody that's listening to us and is playing VR games and at some point decides to put a negative review because one very specific thing that he's suffering, talk to the developer first. If the developer doesn't reply in a couple of weeks, give him at least a week to reply, because you are not the only one playing the game. So, and also try social media, and sometimes the emails get lost. And be patient. Indie developers are not big companies, and at the same time, we are more agile because we don't have a lot of bureaucracy. We have less resources and less people. So we need time. So, but at the same time, we love when players communicate with us and reach out and express their trouble. And we love to have the information and the patience on the player side to deal with the issues and try to fix them.
Right.
Yeah, Steam reviewers, you hear that?
That is a big problem.
It is.
It's rude because
I want to tell developers. I just totally cut you off. I apologize. I want to tell developers not to take Steam reviews so seriously. I know they still count towards your final score, but yeah, Steam reviews, just a little thumbs up or thumbs down bottom. It's so irrelevant because, like you said, one guy can say it was all great, but like the game crashed on me, so negative review. Like, well, that could be your own setup. Yeah, Steam. As developers and publishers, I almost say like ignore those because typically they're one-off issues and. Listen to bigger guys like actual review sites and stuff that do way better work and in-depth reviews as opposed to some guy who played the game for half an hour on Steam and then published a review.
Right.
I got what you mean. I really want to believe that, but the point is that when you see players and reviewers and comments on social media talking about the 75, 84, whatever, this game is better or worse. People care about that, like players care about that. And also companies like publishers, like platform holders, they say, oh, this game is, when you go, I suppose especially now that they have, I don't know if it's still on, that VR bundle from Humble Bundle, and that is really a deal. It's a huge deal. So when you see games from Humble Bundle, what do you see below the game? You see the number or the percentage of positive reviews. And even they name the bundle as super positive review bundle or mostly positive. Or I've seen bundles in Humble Bundle call after the kind of reviews, because that was a point when I saw that, I realized how important for Humble Bundle and for the gamers who buy stuff, specifically bundles there, how important the reviews and the percentage, that number is for them. So sadly, we want to be optimistic that people don't care much about 1 point more or less. But what we see out there is that players are taking bad reviews as a way of how you say, when you say, if you don't do this, I don't remove the review, like conditioning.
Right. Negotiate.
Negotiation. Yeah. Or forcing
I work in Google and Yelp reviews, so I understand this part.
Yeah. So basically, forcing the developers to do stuff. If they don't do that, you don't change the review. That's not right. It's not a good way to create a good community, So basically, what I'm saying is that I would like to have more communication and less hostility, less aggressive, less aggressiveness.
All right, so I have to say the trophies in the PlayStation version of the game really caught me off guard. There's some of them in there that gave me a really big chuckle, and I just wanted to know who came up with these trophies. Whose idea was it to add those in and kind of sneak them in there?
the name of the trophies and the weapons came out from a brainstorming from the team, and Ivan basically put them on paper, but they are not coming from somebody in particular. Basically, one evening or one afternoon, they got together and they started to say crazy stuff, like funny stuff, and think, like they have a good atmosphere. They are funny, good, humorous people. They feel relaxed, and there is a very good vibe in Ivanovich Games. And exactly. So all those names came from the creativity of the team.
And they probably created them just in walking in past, getting coffee. How about this one?
Guys,
that would be a blast.
Before you start leaving, I want to say, I'm going to give a shout out to one specific member of our team, but that's basically the responsible from all the art, and is Octavio. He's our art director, and he's basically one person. One person made everything, all the art.
Oh wow!
I love the artwork of the game.
Yeah.
In the game.
So do I.
He did great.
So I wanna say thank you to Octavio in particular, because it's really hard to make one person to make the art for everything in the game. Like menus, like 3D stuff, all the models, all the everything has been made by him. So I wanna put him, give him the whole team, but specifically Octavio, that has been dealing with a lot of issues that you need to deal with when you're working with a VR game specifically, right? Indie game in general, but the VR game is even more specific and challenging. And he's we mentioned before that the art was great. Did you like the art and you enjoyed it? And I was trying to remember his name, and I came up now with his name. Better late than never.
Question.
Is there a possibility of this being getting a pro specific patch just to increase textures or whatever else the pro could possibly do to help make this game be better, or is it just kind of the way it is right now, and that's perfectly awesome?
As far as I know, the game is showing a better quality of image in general, textures, and in the PlayStation Pro. As far as I know.
Great.
There was actually, I was going to say, there was a patch that was already added to increase the clarity of the game already once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was right after it came out and released.
So right now, the efforts of the team are in improving the game a little bit for each platform. Some points are in common. I can summarize, but basically the efforts are put on that and on the mobile version.
Okay.
But we consider that graphic visual part, the visuals of the PlayStation 4 Pro version, we are happy with them from the point of view of everything we have on the table,
It looks very good.
Awesome.
As far as I know, we did everything that we could with our resources and with all the things that we have to do.
I didn't have any complaints at all.
For the rest of the platforms. So in taking into account the limits we have and the resources we have, we are satisfied with it.
So what's next for Ivanovich Games? If you're allowed to tell us anything, we'd love to hear what you guys have in store.
Next projects, we are working on few ideas, but there will be always VR games for now. We are going to stay in VR. So Touring Karts Mobile is a way to complement the VR version. It's not like, hey, we are going to release a lot of mobile games again. Right. It's like, we want to give mobile players a good racing game, but overall, we want to create a multiplayer VR racing game that has people to play with, that is not hard to play with human players.
Right.
So also we cannot say much more, as Ivan told me. Basically, for now, we have... the idea is to work on Touring Karts at least during this year. At least. So Touring Karts has a lot of life ahead.
That's awesome to hear.
That is what we like to hear because it's a really fun game, and yeah, I definitely look forward to any future updates it might hold.
And the good point is that the VR version is going to benefit from everything we learned from the rest of the versions, like Switch version that is not coming out yet. It's still a little bit of time. Also the PSVR and the mobile version. So everything we learn, we are going to add it to the rest of the game, of the version of the game. And I don't know if you, talking about the future, I don't know if you seen or teasing last Friday, that was yesterday. Time goes by so fast. So we announced of what we are going to be changing in the game or adding to the game. And basically, we are going to change the way you play the offer online. We are going to have 8 online tournaments. That will be special tournaments with big prizes and different rules, each one. So it's not going to be like a copy-paste of each tournament. That is a way of calling players and kind of getting them together to play in few occasions during the day. But we expect to have more people during those occasions. So you won't be with 1 or 2 maximum human players, as there will be notice, there will be a warning and information in the game telling you like the next tournament will happen in 1 hour, in 30 minutes, in 24 minutes. So people will see, okay, we'll see it, we'll play a little bit offline, then we'll come back to play the tournament, or we'll play in a private room and then join the tournament to play online, That's how we think that online mode can be and have new life with more players. Also, the workshop, the garage, will be completely renewed. We will have new parameters in the car and new progress systems based on the cards of each car. Also, we will update the colors of the team, each team, based of the current season of the Formula 1 competition. Also, we have a new option that will allow you to connect to a specific game. Let's say that you are a streamer, you are a YouTuber, you want to join your favorite influencers race and cheer up and watch it as an spectator. You will be able to do that in VR and without VR. You will be able to join, to be present there, and they will be able to see you too.
That's great. So it makes it like a little bit more interactive.
So you have there a new. We posted a screenshot of the garage, how it looks, just in case you want to have a sneak peek. It's on our Twitter and every social media account.
Yeah, and you mentioned a new progression system. I always love the progression system in this game, so I'm curious to see what you guys do with it.
Okay, so that's the future. That's the near future.
Looking good.
Okay, so it's the end of the show. It looks like, sadly, I want to say thank you, Jesus, and to all the YouTubers that came today. I know you guys are extremely busy as well. And thank you for joining us and everybody watching. And I just want to tell you, real soon, there's going to be another episode of the PSVR Chat Show, and do not miss it. It's going to be fabulous. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Yay!